Welcome to the course introduction. In this session, we'd like to introduce you to the Mobile for OutSystems Developers course. This course is going to focus on mobile app development with OutSystems 10 and expects you to have hands-on experience with previous versions of OutSystems. The reason for that is the focus on mobile development will make assumptions that you already understand some of the basics, like the layout of the development environment, how to use entities and actions and build screens. So given that base set of knowledge, you'll be able to focus on the mobile application development and will be able to move a little more quickly. If you do not have previous experience with OutSystems, then you may want to look at the course named Developing OutSystems Mobile Applications, which does a complete introduction to OutSystems as well as introducing mobile application development. So for this course, we'd like at the end for you to have all of the fundamental skills and hands-on experience so you'll be able to build your own mobile apps with OutSystems. Now, previous to OutSystems 10, we've had the capability of building web applications. And we had that web application capability that would go ahead and have server-side logic with data, have screens that make synchronous calls, and sometimes even add some AJAX capabilities. At this point, OutSystems 10 has turned into a full stack development that includes mobile application capabilities. And this means that we'll have client-side logic that is able to run on the device and communicate with the server. We'll have database storage as well as storage on the device for local types of data. We'll be able to make more calls back and forth asynchronously, and the device will be able to do some of the logic and work on its own and be very reactive. So there's a lot of new concepts and a new approach to being able to do this inside of OutSystems. So the course is structured into a number of different sections. Each section has presentations and exercises in it. The presentations are going to cover the concepts and the theories for each of the topics that are provided, and then the exercise will give you more details as well as the hands-on experience of building those components and those parts of the application. At the end, there's going to be a separate project assignment that will allow you to build a new app on your own from a set of detailed requirements and designs. So, what are some of the topics that we'll be covering inside of the course? Well, we'll look at what's new inside of OutSystems 10. We'll talk about how designing and creating mobile apps is a little bit different than what we might do inside of web applications. We'll look at some of the changes to Silk UI, including some of the new themes for our mobile capabilities. We'll see more details about how the mobile programming model changes a bit. We'll talk about how it can be difficult to debug things on the mobile device, and we'll look at some of the tools that can help us do that. We'll look at the new mobile widgets and how to generate the new mobile applications so that we can install them on our device and make them available on the app stores. We'll also talk about being able to have data locally stored on the device so that we have more capabilities and can build offline apps or apps that have offline capabilities much easier. We'll also look at reusable blocks and the events that they can throw. We'll look at the different Silk UI mobile patterns. There's a new set of mobile charts. And then we'll also look at having plugins that can give us access to the device's native sensors and other native capabilities. And at the end, we'll look at a number of different offline scenarios and how data synchronization can be a little different depending on how you're going to use the device offline. And after that, we'll go ahead and set up the information so that you can have the requirements and the details and be able to build the Movies app. So with all of those topics, as we go through the topics in the theory with presentations and exercises, we're going to be building a to-do application. And that to-do application will have a number of to-dos. We can give them different priorities. We can make them more important if we need to remember them because they're very important. So we'll begin building out this list of to-dos and having these capabilities, including making sure we have navigation and that we also have the ability to make sure this app will run when we're offline, and that it can give us more feedback about what we can and can't do offline and how it will work. And then we'll also look at integrating and using some plugins to get to the native devices. So we want to be able to take a picture. How do we integrate the camera and make all of that work? So we'll be going through a lot of these pieces to build up this whole application as we go through the course. At the end, the extra project will be to build a movies app, and that movies app will be able to show you different movies that might be available, to see which cinemas those movies are available in, and then also get information about the cast, the crew, and then be able to make comments about the movies as well. So a fairly robust movie application that allows you to actually go out and book tickets and keep track of the movies that you've seen, and that will be the project at the end. So a number of different things that we're going to accomplish in this course, finishing with the project at the end. Hopefully this sounds interesting and you want to go ahead and get started with the next section.